Welcome back, Red Top Podcast, Season 2, Episode 6. Going to switch things up a little, and don't mind the squeaky chair. It will always be squeaky, and it'll always be in the episodes. Today, we are joined by a Cape Cod local, great friend of Red Top, and one hell of a fisherman. Please welcome Red Top Pro Staff, Captain Matt Maher with Fishy Business Sportfishing.
How's it going?
What's up, dude? We actually just sat here for probably half an hour talking about things we should have been talking about on the podcast, but we'll re-talk about it all. So obviously with this weekend coming up, we have the turn of June coming, and that gets me super excited just because that means the tuna are right around the corner. It's my favorite time of the year. I just got addicted to tuna a couple of years ago and haven't been able to stop doing it ever since. First, I want to dive a little bit into you, Matt. Kind of what got you into fishing, what got you in the business, and kind of just let you have your way and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Let's see. I got into it like pretty young. I was like, I don't know. My grandfather lived on the water, and we'd always just fish like off his dock and like in the Wareham River or whatever. That's where he lived. And let's see, we started just messing around in the skiffs when we were like, I don't know, 10, 12, whenever we could drive them. And then started commercial fishing with him, me and my brother and two of my cousins, till we were like, me and my brother were 16. Or I guess I was 16, my brother was 18. And then my dad bought a boat, and we commercial fished that all summer long with like fishing next to my grandfather.
What were you commercial fishing for? Stripers, sea bass, a little bit of everything?
Yeah, like started out to tog fishing in the early spring, like April. Then went to sea bass. Then after sea bass, it'd be like bluefish, stripers, and then tuna fish. Back then it wasn't tuna fish. I mean, it was big, but like everyone always tuna fish, like kind of just in the fall, like, August, September, October. It was like the big time to go. Plus, I mean, there were so many other ways to make money before that, so there was really no need to do it. But I did that, and then let's see, I did when I was 19. I got my captain's license in March. Started my charter company in April. I think I did like 10 trips my first year.
It's better than none.
Yeah, and that was obviously, there was commercial fishing was still fairly decent. You could make some good money, so I mixed in that, and then started going to Florida in the winters. And then I just kind of bounced back and forth and built it up. Now I'm in my 10th year for chartering. Jeez. We do like 140, 150 trips a year.
That's ridiculous. Now, did you, like, as a kid, always know that you wanted to kind of get into the charter thing and do that? Or did you have another idea?
Not really.
No, it was always fishing?
Yeah, it was something to do with fishing. I didn't know really what. I mean, because growing up, commercial fishing was good. Like, I mean, you could actually make money.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I guess I started going to Florida, working on sport fishing boats. Kind of like that, because it's guaranteed money. And then saw the commercial fishing kind of dying out a little bit. I mean, you can make some money now, but it ain't great.
No.
And I don't know, I just kind of saw the direction commercial fishing was going, so I said, well, I might as well charter. And then see if I can mix in sport fishing and charter, and that's what I do now. So I run a sporty full time, essentially, and then charter like 3 or 4 days. I mean, I'm on the boat 3 or 4 days a week, and then I have another captain that runs it.
Right.
But now I also have 2 boats. So I
was going to say,
I got my brother that runs it, my dad, me, and my new captain, Peter.
You
So
just hired
essentially
him this
between
year?
so essentially between 4 of us, we got 2 boats running 7 days a week.
Gonna be more boats soon? Just the 2 for now.
I don't know, just the 2 for now. We'll see how the second one goes.
Yeah. What is the new boat?
25 contender,
Singles or
single.
single?
Yeah.
Be a little offshore machine.
Yeah, it's set up. It's almost set up better than my boat, the 29 Ocean Runner.
Really?
Yeah, just fishing wise, it is. Seating wise, not great, but if you're fishing,
You got more
Well,
yeah.
I mean, 29 versus 25.
yeah. But it rides good. It's quick. It's really not too much of a difference. So we'll see how it goes. It's getting booked busy quicker than I thought. So we'll see.
What would you say as you're filling up the year? Like, what's the most common trips you're booking? Well, first, what trips do you offer? And second, what's the most common?
Well, I mean, we offer everything. Whatever swims up here, we can catch. Tog, sea bass, scup, fluke, tuna, stripers, bluefish, whatever. I mean, literally anything. The most common we do is probably a dead even split with stripers and tuna,
Really?
bluefin. Yeah,
Mhm.
It's weird. I don't like. We kind of go like with the seasons, really. I mean, we start out doing either haddock and tog like early, and then we'll switch to stripers, sea bass, and then like essentially mid-July or so, it's 80% tuna, 20% stripers.
Tuna. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just all tuna.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be a tuna fisherman nowadays.
Yeah. Captain, what's your favorite fish to target and that you see the most excitement out of people? It has to be tuna nowadays.
Yeah. It's definitely, I mean,
I guess, yeah, I guess it is.
I mean, you get a family out there with little kids and you're crushing sea bass.
That's
They're probably having a blast.
right. Yeah, I mean, I have guys that come back, and I've had guys that have been with me for, I don't know, 7-8 years now, probably, that they've done tuna trips with me. They've caught giants, they've caught small ones.
Yeah.
They've caught them on live bait, they've caught them trolling, they've caught them jigging, casting, everything. In the last like 3 years, they booked striper and sea bass trips.
Huh.
And fluke trips. They're like, yeah,
fluke trips.
Yeah, they're like, we did it. We'd rather go and like catch fish that we can eat and whatever. But I mean, for me, I like to catch tuna the most, obviously.
Yeah.
And I don't really. I mean, I like the spinning rod stuff and the jigging probably just as much as catching giants with live bait. I don't know. I mean, some people get bored with it, but
it's something that you need to do because every time I've gone football fishing, I've only hooked giants on jigs, so it kind of sucks for me.
Ian'll go out,
Yeah,
we'll
those
like
are tough.
mark a pack of fish, and one kid will drop a jig and hook like a 60-incher, and Ian's over there just getting absolutely burned out on like a 400-pounder.
I mean, I guess it's great luck because I'm hooking big fish, but it's
We
not
had
the fish
one
that I
trip
want.
where literally,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
we landed like 4 or 5 fish, and Ian broke off on like 6 giants.
I couldn't do anything. I couldn't stop any of those fish.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to do. They're badass fish, the big ones. I mean, it's when you hook them on a spinning rod, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, like
I mean, realistically,
You
you hook 90 inchers on it. It's fun until it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's fun until about the 6th hour.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
like Connor watched me throw a popper at like a 6. It was probably like 50 inches.
Yeah.
Throw a popper at it, and all of a sudden you see like a 400-pounder come up and annihilate the popper. I'm like, oh, here we go.
That one's gone. Yeah, we got a couple of trips last year. We hooked giants on spin gear.
And
it's fun when the first initial run, you're like, oh, this is awesome. Then you realize that thing's not stopping. You're like, oh, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, my rule of thumb is like if the run lasts more than like 45 seconds, a minute, I'm coming over there with a knife and cutting your line. It's like I want no part of it.
yeah,
I don't understand
You
the
hook
whole
some small ones that are feisty too, though. I mean,
yeah.
I've had. I think the biggest one I've killed on a spinning rod is I think 82 inches, 83 inches. We've got
When did that take?
90 inches up to the boat, but it was on non-kill days, so we didn't kill them. But yeah, I mean, I fought those 90 inches for like 3-4 hours.
Oh,
But then I've also fought. We had one last year or the year before. It's like 76 inches, and it whooped 3 guys who are like good fishermen.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, probably took him like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And like smoked them.
Just killed all three of them.
you just he's every now and then you get a feisty one. It's a little guy, but I don't know. It's weird how that happens.
I just don't understand the culture nowadays of like, and I mean, I guess you're kind of seeing it up here. Guys who come up, like, I'm gonna go hook a tuna on a spinning rod. I'm like, all right, perfect. We'll go find some footballs. We'll catch a tuna. They're like, no, I want to hook a 600-pounder on a spinning rod. I'm just like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
It's like it's gonna burn all 3 of you out, all 4 or 5 of you out, and when you break off, you're done for the day. Because 1, it's gonna take the whole day to fight it, and 2, you're all gonna be deadbeat exhausted after. I don't understand it. Maybe you do, seeing the guys doing it.
I mean, a lot of people say that until it actually happens.
Yeah.
And then they change their mind. I mean, they don't realize how strong the fish are. But I mean, I got these 2 groups that come up from Jersey every year. Badass fishermen, really good. And they literally, I mean, they've caught giants with me before. And we had one day, well, like 2 or 3 years ago at the Sword when the bite was absolutely ridiculous. They hooked like, I forget what it was, maybe like 14 fish or something in one day. But as soon as it started, like when they hooked the giant and it started burning them, they just hold the spool and snap it off.
Yeah, because there's plenty of fish.
Yeah, well, they're just like, there's no point in wasting all that time on a big one. Try to get a small one. But I mean, same thing for them. Like we're not beating our one fish is going to take you the amount of time where you can catch 2 or 3 actual like decent sized spinning rod fish.
Yeah, that you can actually then take home and eat.
Right.
Instead of just bringing it to the market. But anyway, while we're on the topic of tuna, we all know it opens Saturday. Is it open? It opens commercial and rec.
Yeah,
Saturday. Where are you gonna look first? Obviously, without killing spots, you can just say general areas. What direction are you headed first? Northeast or south?
I don't really know, to be honest, yet, but from what I'm hearing and what I saw, I just took the Viking up from Florida.
Okay.
Let's see, like a week ago?
Yeah.
A week and a half ago, maybe? The water was cold, but there was some bait up there, or on the way up when I was coming through, like Block Island. So I'd probably lean that way, but I've caught. I mean, I know there's fish out east. Probably. I mean, they're there every year. All the stick guys stick them. They stick them up in Maine on June 1st. So I don't really know. I mean, it kind of depends on what I hear, what I see within this next week or next couple of days, I should say.
I was gonna say it's coming quick.
Yeah.
Is your first tuna trip Saturday, or do you have a little?
No, we're still doing stripers and sea bass. I think my first tuna trip's like June 8th, 9th or something like that. Yeah. So I have some time. I know there's whales and stuff out east. I know that for a fact. My buddy went out there on a little scouting mission. He said there was a lot of mackerel and whales. So I would imagine the fish are there. That was like a week ago. So
yeah, those fish are probably there then. Come this weekend at least.
Yeah.
I got tricked hard by a kid who used to work at the shop the other day. He sent a snap in the morning. He was running his boat, had all his 130s in the back. It's like, oh, sick. Let me know how you do. Like, if you see anything, hook anything. I don't know where the hell he's going. Text me at like 5 o'clock at night. We hooked one, buddy. It's like, oh shit, like, good for you, dude. That's great to hear. He's like, yeah, sea bass. I was like, you hooked the sea bass. He's like, yep, we fought a sea bass on the 130. They hooked it on a mackerel in 145 feet of water.
Wow.
A sea bass. 145 feet of
He
water.
must have been behind the islands.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's my guess. That's a bite I definitely want to focus on this year. It's that weird little giant thing they had going there.
It was really good last year.
Yeah.
We had some really good days back there on both giants and small fish.
Yeah, I did good with small fish in like October back there, but I don't know why I never went out earlier than that.
You see, you went like 3 months late.
Yeah.
What has happened?
I was a little in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Actually, when did we do our trip? Was that mid-July, I think?
Yeah, mid-July probably, because we went out east, right?
Yeah, we went out
were
east.
Still chasing them down there, and then they got way too far south. I mean, we were running like, I think the last trip I did back there, my last trip home was like 65 miles or something, and that's when I called it quits.
That's ridiculous.
Like, yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, that's when we already knew there was kind of fish behind the island, but where we were going, there wasn't many boats, so we kind of stuck it out. But then it got just a little too ridiculous. They started just keep going further and further south.
Yeah, and at that point, it's a matter of how far
you
want to go.
Yeah,
you end up at Beach pretty quick. I mean, you're what, halfway there? And
well,
we're
we're
105.
Yeah, well,
100.
I mean, I was 65 to like the tip of, or not the tip of Monomoy. It was like 65 to, I don't know, wherever I put my cursor. It was maybe up inside the sound a little bit, but yeah, I mean, Veach is probably only another, Veach or Hydro is probably another 30, 40.
Could your boat make it to the canyons?
Yeah, I hold 265 gallons of fuel, so
yeah, you're fine.
I can do canyon trips all day.
Do you offer that?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah, I've only ever had 2 guys schedule it, and both trips the weather didn't work out, so we didn't do it. I mean, I don't really advertise for it too hard. I mean, it's
a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot to get into.
I don't really. I mean, it's fine I'll do it if they really want to, but the canyons in a 29-footer, it ain't the greatest.
No, the furthest we went last year was 67 miles south of Nomans in a 25.
To the lanes?
Yeah.
We go back there not too often, but a couple times a year. Probably.
And even that, I mean, in a 25-footer, it was like, I don't love being out here. I mean, you're comforted because there's 100 other guys in 24 or 25-foot center consoles up at the dump. But once you get that far and you look at your chart plotter and you're like, there's nothing near us. It's like we're closer to New York than we are Massachusetts right now.
Yeah, it's just one of those things too. Like especially like behind the islands there, the afternoon gets
snotty,
shitty there. Like 80% of the time.
Yeah,
like
always.
Every afternoon it gets windy.
Yep, that day we got beat up on the way home.
Yeah, if something goes wrong and you got to come back in the wind, it's definitely not pleasant.
It's not fun. No, I know you said a little bit there about kind of seeing whales, seeing bait. Are those the only 2 signs you're really looking for when you're looking for tuna? Or are you looking for structure, contour lines, anything else? Or is bait and whales the key?
It kind of depends. I mean, bait and whales is definitely huge. Birds too, but I don't know. I mean, last year I had an epic day on spinning rods with just random feeds, like no birds on them, no bait around, nothing, no whales. I was just cruising. Yeah, we were just cruising around. We had kind of started off slow, and I mean, when you do a spinning rod trip, you got to just expect to run, like wherever,
cover ground.
Yeah, and I just started running around and running up the backside of the Cape, and I saw a feed pop up like right next to me as I was running, and I stopped, and then it just happened. I don't know. I called in one of my other buddies, and I think we both got like 2 or 3. We missed a couple, lost a couple, and there was, I mean, literally like no life.
It's just random, just looking around, all of a sudden it would pop up.
Last year I hooked a double on fish that were just pushing water. Like there was nothing to it. Yeah, I was up off Peakett Hill, and there had been fish there. And we went there in the morning. I marked a couple. Didn't really see much. I think like one or two guys got some on the jig, and like middle of the day, like 11 o'clock maybe, I just saw a pack of fish pushing and ran over to them, threw plugs on them, and they ate 2 out of 3 plugs. So that's weird. But I mean, there's also like last year there was a good jig bite south of the island that was on a wreck.
Yeah.
Like you had to be right on top of the wreck some days. Like if you weren't literally on the wreck, you weren't getting bit.
Yeah, I've noticed that like fishing south versus east is so different.
Huge
like
difference.
East is kind of, I call the East like the definition of Northeast tuna fishing. Like
Yes.
it's cold, you're in fog, it's not fun
Yes.
until you hook fish, and then it's fun. And then South, it's warm. It's usually calm until the afternoon. And you can see everything, and it's nice. It's like Southern fishing. But out East is brutal. If you don't know what you're doing out there,
Yeah, you gotta have good radar to go out east.
Yeah.
If you want to do the spinning rod stuff, even if you're live bait fishing, you gotta know what's going on. Just picking up the birds. Sometimes if it's real calm out, you pick up the whales every now and then. But just even the boats too, like it gets so busy out there.
Yeah.
It's just not good if you don't have a good radar.
No, I was shocked last year to see how many people weren't even running radar. It shouldn't happen.
Oh yeah, it's
just
every day.
It was ridiculous. We had a day actually out east and in the bay. Somebody jumps on the radio every time. This jackass going by, you got no radar. It's like, yep. And of course, it's always the guys running no radar who are going 25, 30 knots through the fog.
I had a guy last year follow me from like inside like 3 miles inside of Monomoy all the way out to Crab Ledge, and I saw him because there's always like a fog line right at the tip of Monomoy.
Yep.
So it wasn't foggy when I saw him, and he was going out slow. It was like just getting light, and he's doing like maybe 10 or 12, and I was flying by him. And then he picked up the speed, followed me into the fog, and then I could just see him on my radar all the way out to Crab Ledge. I slowed down. He came up on me in the fog. He slowed down. And then I ran like way, way out of the way, and he followed me. And then I went way back out of the way. Like I went like way up to the north, and then I turned around and went like inshore. And he still followed me. And I stopped the boat again. And then he came up to me, and then I talked to him. I was like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I don't have a radar. I was hoping you could bring me out to Crab Ledge.
Like, well, it's 10 miles that way.
I was like, why are you out here? Like,
yeah,
it's pea soup fog. You can barely see.
Yeah, and it's always that way out east.
Yeah.
Which, I guess, one thing we struggled with last year was the fog out east. Like finding fish. What's your best way?
When it's foggy out, it's mainly about your network. Who you talk to.
Who you talk to.
Yeah, you gotta have people looking.
Yeah.
Covering ground. I mean, it's essentially all it really is. That and trusting your sonar. Like if you don't have a good sonar, you're lost. But
yeah,
I mean, my sonar I think is probably one of the best out there. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's obviously better, but if you talk stupid
get
money,
some live scope going out there now.
If you get the, I mean, all the sporty, all the sporties have like the Furuno sonar or whatever, 360. Things ridiculous, but for a normal sonar and a normal boat, there's pretty confident that I don't miss fish. Like if they're around me, I'm gonna see them.
Yeah.
So, and most of my buddies that I fish with or talk to, they all have good electronics and stuff. So, I mean, in the fog, it's essentially communicating with them and looking at your sonar. Hopefully, you pop up on some whales or birds or whatever. But
yeah, because last year I went out east 4 times, 2 times on another boat, one with you and one with another kid. And the first trip on, it's actually John from Fishy Business Jigs.
Yeah.
And we just happened to run across a school of fish. Like, it was pea soup fog, and we just happened to spot some breakwater, and I saw one fish air out, and we went over and we had a feed, and we connected the one fish.
Yeah.
But the next time we went out, I think it was actually a week later, we did back-to-back Fridays. The next week, it's like we couldn't find fish for the life of us. We covered.
I think it was
ground
foggy
from
when you
crab
came.
all the way. Oh, it was foggy when we went too.
Yeah.
It cleared out in the afternoon, but
Yeah.
that-
a lot of
the
times
wind
it's
picked
over
up
by the
and
afternoon.
yeah.
Especially for the topwater stuff. I mean, I've had some decent days in the afternoon, but it's weird. Out east seems to die out.
It seems to feel like you have to be there at sunrise. If you're
Oh,
not
yeah,
there
for
at sunrise,
sure.
you miss it.
Yeah. I probably catch, I don't know, 75% of my fish within the first 2 or 3 hours of light.
Yeah, I believe it. I remember being at the ramp last year, listening to everybody scream, "We gotta get out there!" I was like, "Why is everybody rushing?" Like, the sun's gonna rise in an hour. I'm like, geez, all right, we're going. Let's go. Like, we're out. But what are some of your like favorite plugs for tuna? Well, one, what setups are you using? And two, what are your what lures are usually going on for the first couple of trips for customers?
Well, I mean, my setups, I use Saragosa's 18,000s, and then I use the Black Widow rods. And then for my plugs, I don't know, it kind of depends on what they're feeding on. Like in the fall, they're always on small stuff like peanut bunker and all that. So I like epoxy jigs, little like soft paddle tails. Maybe in the fall, like mix in like a small popper. In the summer, when they're the majority of the time on like mackerel or like big sand eels, some herring maybe mixed in, you can use bigger plugs like sliders or a siren, like big siren.
I have a problem with sirens now. I just keep buying them.
Yeah, he makes a nice plug.
He does.
He's
got a nice strategic set behind.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of depends on where I'm fishing and what they're feeding on too. I mean, some days I don't even put on a plug; it's all jigs.
Yeah.
Would
you rather plug or jig?
I don't know. The plug's sick when you see the bite, but when they whack a jig in your hand,
it's different.
They hit that thing so hard. It's crazy.
Hold on tight.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
get ready for the ride.
They're both epic, but
I think no matter what,
seeing the fish blow up is pretty sweet. They definitely. I mean, to me anyway. I think they hit the jig way harder.
Yeah.
And then they just start peeling it. Like a lot of times when they hit the plug, they're coming at you. I mean, they're following the plug.
Yeah, so it takes a second to catch it up.
Yeah, so it. I mean, you get tight to it, but I mean, you end up reeling like as fast as you can for the first few seconds.
Yeah.
With a jig, it's like you come to a complete stop. Most of the time. Sometimes they swim up with it, but
yeah. I can't even talk about this stuff. I just want to put a gun out of the boat right now.
Yeah, it's addicting.
It's so addicting. And it's funny because my dad still hasn't gotten to experience the spinning yet. We did a small fish on an 80 last year south. He still hasn't caught a fish on a spinning rod. It's like when I get amped up and ready to go, like literally 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we're leaving at 2 a.m. the next day, and I'm already packing everything, rigging everything up. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "If I don't do this right now, I'm gonna lose my mind because I can't stop thinking about it."
Yeah.
So it's like once you hook them on spinning gear, it ruins everything else.
Yeah.
That's all you want to do.
I mean, it's still fun. Like I still enjoy bait fishing with the 80s or 130s or whatever. do a little bit of stand-up stuff on the sporties. That's pretty epic. I mean, if you get someone that's strong and fit, can handle the stand-up stuff, it's pretty good. I don't know. Yeah, I mean it's different. Both of them are different, but I don't know. They both excite me just as much, probably.
I think it's just tuna fishing in general.
Yeah, I mean, what's peeling out 45 pounds of drag? Like it's 2 pounds.
Yeah,
it's nothing. Blue marlin, they're pretty close to it, but other than that,
I don't know.
no,
I think I just like the aesthetic of being offshore. Just everything about it.
I do need to do it more.
I just like being offshore. Like even like in the bay. Like just giant fishing in the bay.
rotten.
Like I just want to do it.
Yeah.
I just want to see a tuna. I don't care if I freaking catch one. Like I literally the first year I went tuna fishing on my own boat. We hooked up at the fishing ledge in September, and after like 15 minutes lost the fish. Everybody on the boat's pissed. Like, we lost the fish. We didn't do it. I'm in the corner all happy. I'm like, dude, we hooked a fish, though. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And we just hooked a fish. Now, obviously, this will be my, I think, 3rd or 4th year doing it. So it's like, I'm still probably just going to break off anyway. But it's like, hey, I'll keep hooking them the live long day, and I'll still enjoy it.
Yeah. It's not, I mean, losing them is never fun, but
No.
some days, I mean, there are some days where it's just slow and you're essentially happy to get a bite, just one bite.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not great when you lose them.
No, last year was the most frustrating for me. I had never kite fished before. One, getting the kite in the air is hysterical when you have a big pilot house blocking all the wind. You gotta like stand up on the pilot house, you throwing the flag off they're throwing the kite off the side. Had a bluefish up on a kite. Watched a giant come from the port side of my boat around the bow, just pushing water right over to like the starboard bow, hits this bluefish like 20 feet across the water, kills it, just swims away. That's it. Just left. Same day, had a pogie on a down rod. Literally watch a mark come up and just swim off. I was like, you shit me.
They do that a lot with
Yeah.
down rods. But yeah, it's about presentation.
That's why I steal all your tricks.
Yeah.
I watched you last year. I was sitting there. I did a little sinking trick. I was like, oh, stealing that. I was like, that was a good one. But our trip last year was funny. That poor beagle.
Yeah, that was a big poor
That
beagle.
was a massive poor beagle. It's the biggest one I've ever seen.
They get big out there.
They do.
Especially, I don't know, the ones out east seem to get huge. But
I think the funniest part of that trip was when I think that was on a floater. Like the balloon popped or whatever. It's like moving. You start cranking on the rod. I was right behind you. I'm like ready to go. And you're cranking. And you see Howie on the bow and you like turned and looked and you're like, well, when are you guys going to get on this rod or what? And I was like, I'm right behind you, dude.
yeah, I mean, once I hook it, I don't need to reel it. I've reeled in plenty for you guys.
Plenty. And it is fun to go out with you because, like, as me, somebody who's new to it, it's fun to, even if we aren't catching fish, just watch you set everything up. Because just doing that teaches me more than I will talking or watching freaking videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, just sitting there letting you do your thing and just watching what he does, whether it's a little, how he hooks a balloon on or the sinker or whatever. Like
I get a lot of guys that come out that like have their own boats.
Yeah.
They come just to
learn.
Yeah, essentially just to learn. It's so you got to be careful with some guys because they'll do it and try to like snake all your stuff out and go and start a charter business or whatever.
Yeah.
But the guys that I know that have their own boat and come out, like, I mean, I know you have your own boat, but I get talking about other people, like they come out just to kind of learn a few things. So when they go 4 or 5 times a year, they have a chance of getting a bite.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
That's why it's funny. Like, people will give me shit sometimes. So like, you have a commercial permit. There's no money in that. There's no money in that. There's no point in killing those fish. And I was like, I understand there's no money in it. I'm not doing it for the money. It's like I'm doing it because I want to catch a giant tuna, and that's the means of doing it legally. Like, sure, I have the window of the trophy season for the rec guys for the week and a half.
Yeah,
But
that
it's like,
closes so early up
yeah,
there.
but it's like, no, I want to be able to go do it all summer, not worry about a week and a half rec season where I'm going to go once a year. And on top of that, it's like, if I fight a decent sized fish for God knows how long, because I don't know what I'm doing, and it comes up dead, I have a recreational permit. It's like, all right, and watch that thing just slowly sink to the bottom.
Yeah,
It's like, it just feels wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, no, just get a commercial permit, find a couple buyers, and go do it if you want to do it.
Right.
You don't have to be some wicked tuna out there for 4 hours. So that was hysterical last year when you were yelling at TJ.
I was yelling at TJ?
Yeah, on the radio. He was asleep.
Oh, yeah.
You were
When
shit
he was,
talking him.
yeah, he was, I was going to say, I don't think I was young. Maybe just
Oh,
talking
no. You were talking
give him
shit.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, if you
No,
want to catch a giant, do it right.
TJ fished with my grandfather. He knows my grandfather very well.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. So
Oh.
I mean, I talked to him here and there, but nothing crazy. I actually saw him in Key West a couple months ago.
Does he run a boat down there?
No,
know.
he lives. I think him and his dad have a place down there or something. I know they have a CV down there. I think they just kind of mess around in the winter. I don't think they really do too much.
Nice.
But yeah, he's in Key West all winter. Actually, I saw him the last 2 years down there. But yeah, no, that was good.
Now, I know you were on South and East. You've been talking about it all day. Would you rather catch a yellowfin or a bluefin? If you're going for schoolies. If you're going for football tuna.
Oh, yellowfin.
Yellowfin?
Yeah, 100%.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just gonna probably because I haven't caught as many on the spinning rods and stuff.
Okay.
I mean, the canyon's a different thing. That's trolled up a million of those, but
Yeah.
when you're going to the spinning rods, if you're talking small tuna fish, I don't know, it's just different. I mean, you can't always catch the yellowfin either, so it's, I don't know, a little more challenging, I guess.
Yeah, it seemed like last year they were up here for a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
There was a pretty long yellowfin bite last year.
Yeah, they pushed in for a while. We got a few, but even still, like when we were catching the yellowfins, we were still catching more bluefins mixed in with the yellowfin. Yeah.
Now, would you say,
So,
I would assume bluefin will fight harder than yellowfins? Or just,
I don't know. They're about the same.
About the same. Tuna's a tuna at that point.
Yeah, when they're at that size. I mean, big eyes fight hard, but we don't really. I mean, you got to go to canyons for those. But
AJ has a picture of a big eye.
Yeah,
that was probably state record. He just never weighed in.
I don't know. State record's pretty big. I bet you it's probably up in the 3s.
Did you ever see the picture of his?
No.
Let me see if I can find it quick. This thing, now obviously the fish doesn't look as big as it is because AJ's 6'8", whatever, 330. Let's see if I can find them. No, that's a block. I don't have it. Next time you see AJ, ask him to see that picture. He'll have it.
I will.
It definitely wasn't like the record now, but like at the time he caught it, I think the record was like 230, 240. Something. Yeah. I don't remember. But if you talk to him, it's actually a massive big eye. He's holding it. Its nose is on the ground. He's holding it by the tail, and the tail is like right at his shoulders. So it is a decent sized big eye.
Yeah.
It's just a butterball.
The records thing also isn't, I mean, the records always made me laugh, kind of. Like, you know how many old school commercial guys catch huge fish?
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care at all.
No,
like,
God, no.
So, I mean, the record thing's cool and all, but I bet you most fish that are essentially record, this guy's a caught bigger.
Yeah. Some of them will never be broken. There's
Yeah.
some in there. Like that Mako, no one's catching a Mako that big again in bass. I think the Mako is like a 1,300-pound Mako.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's big.
It was massive. I think
Yeah,
it
I've
was like
never-
11 or I know it was over 1,000, but it was a massive Mako.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple that won't be broken, but
Time will
there's
tell.
definitely plenty that will.
Yeah, so maybe you'll break one this one.
I don't know, I
Although
had
you're
the- I
probably
had
one of
the-
the guys who doesn't give shit.
No, I weighed in one fish in my life,
What was it?
and it was here. It was a bluefish, and I only did it because my buddy made me do it. That was with me. It's like, dude, you gotta weigh that thing in. That's a huge bluefish. Guarantee that's a state pin. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I've caught bigger, if not
This
the
is
same
Heavier, at least,
size. Yeah. So I weighed it in, and it
Right
actually
here.
ended up being the heaviest bluefish for the year.
Really?
In the state of Mass. Yeah, I got like that
How big was
award
it?
and the pin or whatever. I think it was like 18.7 or something like that.
That's crazy.
It was big.
That
was-
self fight in October started with, like, I was talking with Chris LaFrange. You know Chris?
No, I don't think so.
He does the tuna tail mounts.
No.
All right, whatever. Stuck with him. He's the one who told me about the bite, and he's like, "Don't be discouraged. You're gonna catch nothing but world record bluefish for the first hour of sunrise, and then the tuna will show up." I was like, "Okay, whatever." So we get out, find a pogie school, and we started hooking these bluefish. And when I shit you not, these bluefish must have been, I don't know, 40 to 45-inch bluefish. They look like
Yeah.
stripers.
When they get on the pogie piles, they get big. That's why mine was so heavy. The thing was filled with pogies.
Just
It was-
filled up.
Yeah, its belly was huge.
But all right.
I want to see.
Any additions, Ian?
No,
I
don't
forgot
have
you were
anything
here.
about offshore fishing. so
Anything?
you guys are just talking and I'm listening and like trying to learn a
All right.
little bit.
We'll have
But my goal this year is to
get Ian
finally
offshore.
land a football.
On spinning gear. Football for Ian this
Not a
year.
giant.
You'll see it on YouTube, people. But thanks for listening this week again. I know we're annoying to listen to, but we have fun doing these, so we'll keep putting them out. Everybody check out Matt on Instagram. You can find him at Fishy Business Sport Fishing. Call him up, see what days he's available. He has plenty of... Do you have plenty of trips available for this year?
Not
Actually,
plenty, but we have.
He's
availability.
running out of trips, so call him fast. Book him now, people. Thanks for listening again this week, and we will catch you next week.